Hello everybody, Thomas here, and welcome back to SFF180. I hope you've had a lovely weekend. Me, not so much. Well, it's been alright, but I appear to be still in a bit of a productivity slump, and I'm really working hard to reverse that. But, good week for the mailbag here. Let's see if I can hold this up without making everything plummet. See, there you go. Lots of stuff. A big box at the bottom, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a lot of the random Penguin titles for May. What else? Any announcements? Well, birthday for me Wednesday, so I'm going to be out of town for some of that. But let's see. I am doing Nebula Weekend as well as BEA this year, remember. That is going to be happening from the 11th to the 16th of May. I will be vlogging that whole experience as it happens, just like I did last year. And also, finally, the BookTube SFF Awards. The final ballots are now up. You can now go and vote on the shortlists. I will leave the link to that in the description. And we have scheduled our award ceremony live show for the 4th of June. That's a Saturday. I'm pretty sure that's it. Unless I hear differently, we've all agreed on the 4th of June as being like a weekend we can all do it. And it will probably be early in the afternoon my time. I'll let you know more firmly as the date approaches. But go and vote in the BookTube SFF Awards. Loads of fun. And I guess beyond that, without further ado, let's get into this week's mailbag, shall we? Alright, start out with one of these days, I tell you, I'm going to come up with a better system for this. Okay, first of these appears to be a little hardcover from Random Penguin. Let us see. Okay, this first one is a young adult. The author is Jenny Martin. It's called Marked, and it is the sequel to a book called Tracked, which I am pretty sure I got last year. Yes. This has, apparently it's already been out more than a month. This came out on March 17th, so this either took a long time to get here, or that, oh no, wait a minute. May 17th, it's not already out. Typo, says March up at the top, but then it says May down at the bottom. So, well, there we are then. Let's go with May. Anyway, let's see. It picks up right where Tracked left off, has all the high stakes and thrills that has become Jenny's signature style. This duology is for fans of Firefly, Mad Max, perfect for readers of Divergent and Across the Universe. Let's see. Spoilers are coming up in the synopsis, so I'm going to ignore that. But let's see. It says, Book Riot has called it a little bit Star Wars, a lot like the Fast and Furious, and altogether awesome. Okay. Well, if you're a fan of Tracked, then you will be happy to know Marked is coming out May 17th. Okay, and next we have this very thin little Random Penguin package. And look here, it is the trade paperback edition of Nnedi Okorafor's The Book of Phoenix. This comes out the 3rd of May from DAW. Have already reviewed it here on the channel as well as my website, so I will link you to that. This is the prequel to her novel Who Fears Death, which won the World Fantasy Award. This book, very, very different in tone, but no less remarkable for all that. So if you're a Nnedi fan and you have yet to pick this up, now is your chance in trade paperback on May the 3rd. Oh, this looks like it might be another package from Titan. Got some Titan titles last week, and it feels like it's got 2 books in it. Indeed it is. It's 2 books from Titan, and one of these I've seen some buzz about and am a little bit excited for. It's called The Race. The author is Nina Allen. This comes out on the 19th of July, and it says it's a breathtaking new post-apocalyptic novel by an award-winning author. A child is kidnapped with consequences that extend across worlds. A writer reaches into the past to discover the truth about a possible murder. Far away, a young woman prepares for her mysterious future. In a future scarred by fracking and ecological collapse, Jenna Huhlman lives in the coastal town of Sapphire. Her world is dominated by the illegal sport of smart dog racing, greyhounds genetically modified with human DNA. Seems like that would make them slower. When her young niece goes missing, that world implodes. Christie's life is dominated by fear of her brother, a man she knows capable of monstrous acts, and suspects of hiding even darker ones. Desperate to learn the truth, she connects Alex, a stranger she knows only by name, and who has his own demons to fight. I guess they mean connects with Alex. And Marie, a young woman undertaking a journey that will change her world forever. The Race weaves together story threads and realities to take us on a gripping and spell-binding journey. And Alistair Reynolds apparently thinks very highly of this. But this comes out from Nina Allen, Titan Books title, July the 19th. And the other one is a book from Daniel Godfrey. It's called New Pompeii. And this comes out June 21st. It says Jurassic Park meets Gladiator in this debut science fiction novel. In the near future, energy giant Novus Particles develops the technology to transport objects and people from the deep past to the present. Their biggest secret, New Pompeii, a replica of the city hidden in deep Central Asia, filled with Romans pulled through time a split second before the volcano erupted. Historian Nick Houghton doesn't know why he's chosen to be the company's historical advisor. He's just excited to be there. Until he starts to wonder what has happened to his predecessor. Until he realizes that Novus Part, I guess company name in short, Novus Part, have more secrets than even the conspiracy theorists suspect. And they have underestimated their captives. Well, yeah, you get a bunch of pissed off Romans together. All kinds of fun happens. But New Pompeii sounds neat, appeals to the fan of ancient Rome in me, I will tell you that. Comes out from Titan Books June 21st. Alrighty then, moving right along. Star Wars fans have another bit of Star Warring to do. In Bloodline, this is by Claudia Gray. It says it is set in the years before The Force Awakens witnessed the birth of the Resistance. And it comes out May the 3rd. Okay, well, let's just see. When the rebellion defeated the Empire in the skies above Endor, Leia Organa believed it was the beginning to a lasting peace, but after decades of vicious infighting and partisan gridlock in the New Republic Senate, that hope seems like a distant memory. And then it goes through, I guess, Leia's career as a senator. And so, yeah, so this will be now the novels, which will be bridging Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, are now starting to hit the racks. And Bloodlines, the first one, comes out on the 3rd. So Star Wars fans, get it going on right here. Okay, well, this is something this week, not from Random Penguin. This is a Hatchet group title. And I always know when I have one of these because these damn vacuum-sealed packages. Oh, cool. Very happy to have this. It is a book by James Smythe, writing as J.P. Smythe. It's called Way Down Dark. It's the first book in something called the Australia Trilogy. James Smythe, I've reviewed one book of his, I think called The Explorer. Didn't find that one all too persuasive, but I have heard a lot of interesting things about this trilogy, and I believe actually in Australia and maybe in the UK the entire trilogy is out, but over here, us poor Yanks have to wait until October 4th for this first volume, but it is called Way Down Dark, okay? And it says, 17-year-old Chan's ancestors left a dying Earth hundreds of years ago in search of a new home. Generations later, they're still searching. Every day aboard the interstellar transport ship Australia is a kind of hell, where no one is safe and no one can hide. Indeed, the only life Chan's ever known is one of endless violence, a life of survival. Fiercely independent and entirely self-sufficient, she has learned to keep her head down as much as possible, careful not to draw attention to herself amidst the mayhem. For the Australia is a ship of death, filled with murderous gangs and twisted cults, vying for supremacy in a closed environment with limited resources and new hope. Sounds just like the States during election year. I got a million of these. I'm great, aren't I? Okay, then one day, back to the story, Chan makes an extraordinary discovery. There may be a way to return the Australia to Earth, but doing so will only bring her to the attention of the fanatics and murderers who control life aboard the ship, putting her and everyone she loves in terrible danger. Okay, well, gang violence aboard a generation ship, I suppose. Coolness. All right, but comes out October 4th here in the States, or if you're just damned impatient, you can get the overseas edition. Anyway, from James Smythe. Okay, moving closer and closer to the big box at the bottom, we have... What is this? Oh, it looks like something probably from the lovely folks at Saga Press. Let's see. It is a Saga Press package with 3 titles in it. The first of these is the finished copy of Cat Howard's Roses and Rot. And the more I hear about this, I've already gotten this as an ARC, but the more I hear about it, the more I think I really want to read it, because it's in that dark, dark fairy tale mold. And there's no individual cell sheet, so I'm just going to have to read it this way. This comes out May the 17th. It says a prestigious artist's retreat holds dark secrets as desire for art and love are within grasp for Imogen and for her sister Marin, but at a terrible price. What would you sacrifice in the name of success? Imogen has grown up reading fairy tales about mothers who die and make way for cruel stepmothers. As a child, Imogen used to lie in bed wishing her own mother would die, because she couldn't imagine how a stepmother could be worse. As adults, Imogen and Marin have more or less escaped their mother, Imogen as a writer and Marin as a dancer, and they're both accepted to an elite postgrads art program at Melite. or Melite. Imogen might be living in a fairy tale after all, and it's one that will pit her against her sister if she really wants to escape her past. Ooh. So, all kinds of dark, dark, dark family doings here in Roses and Rot by Cat Howard. And next up are a couple of arcs for some upcoming anthologies that they're doing. The first one here, which comes out, when is this? Okay, it comes out August the 23rd. It's called What the Blankety Blank Swear Word Is That? And it says, and in every story, one character is guaranteed to say, what the blankety blank swear word is that? I guess that's the hook. Okay, but it is an anthology of the monstrous and the macabre. I just looked in the very front of it there. It's actually dedicated to Cthulhu, so that's really cute. But it's got stories by Laird Barron, Scott Sigler, Simon R. Green, Alan Dean Foster, Christopher Golden, Maria Davana Headley, John Langan, Shannon McGuire, Jonathan Mayberry, Tim Pratt, Anne Owomoyela, Rachel Swirsky, and more. Okay, John Jacob Adams anthology. John Joseph Adams, excuse me. So that's embarrassing. And it says, Fear the unknown is the essence of the best horror stories. The need to know what monstrous vision you're beholding and the underlying terror that you just might find out. So there's this. And also coming from Saga on October 18th is the anthology The Starlit Wood, New Fairy Tales. Once upon a time in the desert in a tower on a spaceship in the other country. For centuries, storytellers have created timeless tales that have always found a place in our hearts. Here, a new generation of critically acclaimed, award-winning writers have taken up their mantle and shaped traditional and extraordinary fairy tales into something startling and electrifying. From castles to canyons, from a post-human landscape to a pixelated dungeon. From the far future to fantastical realms, The Starlit Wood transforms 18 stories you thought you knew and takes you on a journey at once unexpected and familiar across time, space, and amazing new worlds. And let's see, looking at the front, it says contributors include Shauna McGuire, Jeffrey Ford, Naomi Novik, Aliette de Bedard, Catherine Valente, Garth Nix, Marjorie M. Liu, let's see, Max Gladstone, Theodora Goss, Genevieve Valentine, Charlie Jane Anders, Daryl Gregory, and Amal El Motar. Okay, that's impressive. Margot Lanigan, Sophia Samatar. Okay, and what these are is they appear to be like reimaginings of classic fairy tales in a new context, right? So apparently, like Shannon's story is a take on Little Red Riding Hood. Charlie Jane's story is a take on The Mouse, the Bird, and the Sausage. I'm not familiar with that one from my childhood. Max Gladstone's story is a variation on Jack and the Beanstalk. Cat Howard's story is based on The Snow Queen. Naomi Novik's story is based on Rumpelstiltskin, so it's that kind of thing. Sounds actually really freaking cool. The Starlit Wood comes out in October the 18th. Ugh. And finally, everybody, the big kahuna, Showy Massive Random Penguin box. Let's see what we have. Okay, poppy stuff over there. Now what I'm going to do is, to save effort, I'm just going to pull each one out of the box in order and showcase them one by one, because most are mass market paperbacks, starting with Straits of Hell by Taylor Anderson. This is one of his Destroyermen novels, transported to an alternate version of Earth where World War II no longer rages. And so this would be the volume that precedes the new one that I just got the art for, which you probably saw in last week's episode or the week before. So Straits of Hell. And next we have To Kill a Kettle Witch by Barb Hendy. This is one of the Mist-Torn Witches novels, a series of hers. Powerful Prince Malcolm is facing ruin in the wake of a curse that has destroyed his harvest. He blames the nomadic Mondialitko, or something like, I'm sure I murdered the pronunciation of that, who summer in the meadow below his castle, and he is determined to root out the people who caused the blight by any means necessary. So To Kill a Kettle Witch, now in mass market. Followed by Jack Campbell's The Lost Fleet, Beyond the Frontiers, Leviathan. You know, you rarely see many titles in SF that have like multiple layered colons, like this, right? But this is one of them. But again, now this will be one of his Lost Fleet series. He has a new one coming in hardcover, and so the preceding one is now in paperback, as you see. And the next is Jeannie Koch's Camp Alien, which the latest in her Touched by an Alien series. I tried reading a bit of the first one. I may try again, but at the time I was like, But I guess it has a fan base because this is number 15. 15 in this series, which means there have now been as many of these as there have been Harry Dresden novels. So think about that. Anyway, Camp Alien, now in paperback. Also now in paperback, Mirror Sight by Kristen Britton. This is a series I desperately need to get caught up on. This is her Green Rider series, the 5th of these now in mass market paperback. Very highly thought of, I believe, by the people who have been following it. They look pretty good, to be perfectly honest. So Mirror Sight for fans of Kristen Britton, now out. And Oracle by Michelle West. This is the 6th book in her series, The House War. I have begun reading the first one. I am going to be trying to knock out this whole series this year, because these are it's a big old epic fantasy series, but I don't really hear too many people talking about it on BookTube and elsewhere. Like I said, I've begun book 1, and I'm liking how it's starting out, and I think it's going to be a nifty world to be present in and to be sharing adventures in. But this is Oracle, book 6, now out in mass market. And if 6 mass market paperback titles weren't enough for you, how about 4 hardcovers? First off, we do have, like I said, Jack Campbell's The Lost Star's Shattered Spear. Got the arc for this, but now this is the finished hardcover copy, the next adventure in his Lost Fleet universe. Next, there is Night Shift. This is the newest Midnight Texas novel, the new series by Charlaine Harris. And as you see, this one's it's pretty neat. It has the end papers are this little color map of Midnight Texas. And next we have a book called Admiral. The author is Sean Danker, and this appears to be a new military SF. I don't know if it's the beginning of a series, most likely is. Most books these days are. But yeah, it's got praise from the likes of William Dietz and Gene Johnson and Marco Cluse. So let me read the interior here for you real quick. It says, I was on a dead ship on an unknown planet with 3 trainees freshly graduated into the Imperial service. I tried to look at the bright side. He is the last to wake. The label on his sleeper pod identifies him as an admiral of the Evergardian Empire, a surprise as much to him as to the 3 recent recruits now under his command. He wears no uniform, and he is ignorant of military protocol, but the ship's records confirm he is their superior officer. Whether he is an Evergardian admiral or a spy will be of little consequence if the crew members all end up dead. They are marooned on a strange world. Their ship's systems are failing one by one, and they might not be alone. Okay, well, sounds like keeping the basic plot simple and to the point. But this could be some nice little kinetic adventure here. Admiral by Sean Danker in hardcover from Roc. And finally, this one is a new title from DAW. It's a rather pleasant surprise as well. It's called The Summer Dragon. It is the first book in a series called The Evertide, and the author is Todd Lockwood. Todd Lockwood being, as many of you know, a very highly regarded cover artist for epic fantasy novels. He did most of the American edition covers of the Malazan books before Tor went with the boring covers. He's done just covers for lots and lots of folks. And I guess, I don't know, like some other artists, he's decided, no, I'm sick and tired of illustrating other people's fantasy novels. I want to do one myself. So here he has. Which other artists have shifted to doing their own? Wayne Barlow did a novel. The brothers Hildebrandt did one like way back in the 70s. Terrible. But still, doesn't happen too often, but Todd Lockwood brings us The Summer Dragon. Let me read the flap real quick. And no surprise, being an artist, this edition I think is going to be fairly generous with illustrations. There's something quite lovely on the end paper there. Maya and her family raise dragons for the political war machine. As she comes of age, she hopes for a dragon of her own, to add to the stable of breeding parents. But the war goes badly, and the needs of the dragonry dash her hopes. Her peaceful life is shattered when the Summer Dragon, one of the rare and mythical high dragons, makes an appearance in her quiet valley. The Summer Dragon is an omen of change, but no one knows for certain what kind of change he augurs. Political factions vie to control the implied message, each to further their own agendas, and so Maya is swept into an adventure that pits her against the deathless horrors, thralls of the enemies, and a faceless creature drawn from her fears. In her fight to preserve everything she knows and loves, she uncovers secrets that challenge her understanding of her world and herself. And as you see, there are pen and ink illustrations in the interior. There's one, and there is another one. I kind of like the premise here. Because it addresses something obvious, right? I mean, like in all of these fantasies where you have like people riding dragons and going to war and all that stuff, you know, somebody's got to raise and breed those things and feed them and muck them out and do the job of like dragon husbandry. And so this is a novel about those people. But The Summer Dragon, I guess, coming out this month by Todd Lockwood from DAW Books. Okay, you guys. Damn, what a week that was, huh? 19 titles I counted, mostly from Random Penguin, but some good stuff from Titan Books and Saga and a few other imprints. Pretty exciting month, I must say. All right, you know the drill. Get to work, lighten up those comments, let me know which of these looks most interesting and exciting to you, which you would like to see me prioritize in the review queue. Even I'm having trouble trying to figure out which of these I most want to read this week. So help me out here, all right? Otherwise, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Share the video far and wide with everybody on the planet you know who reads SFF. And above all, please subscribe if you have not done so. That's how SFF180 grows as a channel. Be part of the SFF180 family. And until I see all of you next time, booyah, happy reading.